This is the Montana Outdoor Podcast, brought to you in part by Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer in Missoula, home of Boss Snowplows, CM Truck Beds, and Diamond Sea Trailers. Just go to rmtte.com for more information. And by Superior Hardwoods of Montana, home of the largest selection of in-stock high-end wood products and flooring in the western United States. Let them guide you through the woods at superior-hardwoods.com. Now, get ready for more fascinating topics and the most interesting people you will ever find in Montana's great outdoors. We offer new podcasts most every Saturday. You can get a link to these podcasts by going to our website, montanooutdoor.com, or by going to our Facebook page, or just send an email to Downrigger at montanooutdoor.com and say send a link to my email. It's that simple. Now let's head out with your host, Downrigger Dale, and see what's going on in Montana's great outdoors.
Thank you very much, Manny. And as Manny just said, I am Downrigger Dale with the Montana Outdoor Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us again. Got to thank all of you for how this podcast has grown. And, we started this I guess it's just about a year ago today, or close to it. And boy, we have grown tremendous amount, and I can't thank all of you enough. As I always like to do, I want to welcome our military serving overseas. So many of you, I love your emails and all that. So many of you tune into this podcast from all around the world, and I hope it brings a little bit of home back to you, as well as those of you that have found us in other states and other countries and that. It's just been great having you all on board. Now, today, I want to talk about a topic that is near and dear to my heart. And the reason so is I am a father of 8 daughters. And they, of course, are everything to me and my pride and joy and all that. And what I have loved seeing is so much of women now getting more and more involved in the great outdoors. Of course, Montana, we've always had pretty good participation out there just because we are an outdoor state, but it's just great to see. And I came across a program that I'm really excited about, and that's the BOW program through the Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. That's becoming an outdoor woman. And so I wanted to get someone on here to talk about that because I just think this is a great program that I, for one, see growing and doing more. And I think the more we can get everybody involved in our outdoors, it just seems like it becomes a better place to live. It just does. As I've said many times, those that play together in the outdoors stay together and do good things. So Kylie, it's Kembel, right?
Kembel, yes.
And she's with the FWP. I want to first thank you so much for making time for me today. I know you're busy doing all kinds of things out in the great outdoors. Let's start a little bit by just telling us a bit about yourself and what you do with Fish, Wildlife, and Parks.
Yeah, first, Downrigger, I want to say thank you for inviting me on here today. This program really is special to a lot of people in the state of Montana, and I appreciate the opportunity to share it with more folks. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
So I've been in Montana since 2009, and I grew up on a hobby farm, and we were pretty active outdoor recreationists. But my family growing up, we were not hunters and anglers. So it wasn't really until I came to Montana that I started diving into some of those things. And it really is, Montana's a very special place to be able to offer a lot of the recreation opportunities that we have. And this program is something that I think is really special in that it encourages more people to try it who maybe didn't have the opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I love about it. And as I said, I'm a bit biased to it. Being a father of 8 daughters, I just love to see, I guess, some of those glass ceilings get shattered and get out there and do things. Tell us a bit about becoming an outdoors woman. Now, that started as a national program and then came here to Montana as well. Tell us a little bit about how BOW became a program and how long it's been going here in Montana.
Yeah, so it started in 1991 at the University of Wisconsin in Stevens Point, and there was a group of state agencies and local outdoor stores, federal agencies, who started the conversation that we need to help encourage people to try these outdoor recreation opportunities. And so they started with just a big meeting. And at that first meeting, they had women calling in to say, how do we participate? How do we get into the classes? And they hadn't even decided how to run the program yet. So it started off kind of with a bang.
Yeah.
So then they had their first event, and their original bow workshop format, or we call it our summer bow workshop, is a 3-day multi-course event with more than 20 classes to choose from, and you get 4 sessions of classes that you can choose from for an entire weekend, and those are wide across the U.S. I think there's currently 38 states and 6 Canadian provinces that participate in Becoming an Outdoors Woman program. So it is a national program.
Yeah.
In Montana, we picked it up in 1994. We held our very first summer bow workshop. And it has significantly grown beyond that, to the point that several states wanted more than just one weekend. So they started coming up with this term Beyond Bow, which offers opportunities which might be 1 day, 3 days, single topic, and that allowed them to share more things across the state. Instead of doing just one big weekend with 60 people, you can do 6 different events across the entire state and get 10 people per group. So you can double your participation with some of those smaller classes.
Well, I had no idea that it had started in the 90s, because it just seemed like recently I've heard about it. Have you guys just stepped up more of your public relations on it, or am I just out of the loop?
Well, I think some of it is, with the use of Facebook and other social medias, we're able to get the word out more. Some of it's the capacity that we're able to do. FWP is dedicated a little more effort and money and personnel to it. And I think that has kind of helped share the word a little bit. And past participants as well, they're very passionate about this program, and they definitely share a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I was reading an article here recently, and I've seen this before in different press articles and that we hear that women are getting more and more involved in the outdoors. You see more women get into shooting events and fishing events, and we're seeing women involved in fishing tournaments and that, and it's growing and growing. But really, that's been going on for quite a while. An interesting statistic that I saw was that between 1980 and 1990, female hunters, the number of female hunters in the nation doubled. So that's doubling in 10 years. So this has been going on for a while. What have you seen in Montana? Is it been a steady increase, or has it been lately more women are, getting out and becoming anglers and hunters?
Yeah, well, like you mentioned earlier, Montana has had a good rate of participation from women for a very long time. We are very much an outdoor state.
Yeah.
And I think that the rate of increase is variable by year, certainly. But for the most part, I think the increase in female participation is not new to Montana. The rate of increase might be going up by year, but I think that we've had a pretty steady climb of women interested in the outdoor sports for a long time in Montana.
Well, and what we've seen, of course, with the our other program, the Montana Outdoor Radio Show, I mean, that's been going on now for 26 years. But what we saw is a pretty big jump overall in more people discovering Montana's outdoors during the COVID outbreak. people couldn't travel and that, and they decided, well, let's see what's going on in our own backyard, so to speak. And I know, like, for the Montana state parks, during that, couple years of COVID isolation, we saw state parks just breaking records, every month, with more and more people getting out. Do you think the number of women increased during that time as well? Did you see a spike in that? And were you able to do any of the bow events during COVID?
That's an excellent question. I was not the coordinator at the time in the middle of the COVID era. So I would say that absolutely women, proportional to men, got out in the outdoors with the start of COVID. And yeah, the state parks got hit. There's been a lot of increased interest in that. And I think that, encouraged some of that. And we've certainly had to make some changes due to COVID. We do a lot of classroom sessions. So some of those, if they're not able to be moved outside, some of those we're not able to do. Mm-hmm. So it certainly, like every other avenue, this program has, suffered from COVID but we have a very strong volunteer base who never went away, and they're absolutely passionate about continuing this program and continuing to grow it.
Yeah. Talk a bit about some of the, what Bo has done so far in the past, maybe some of the different programs and events that you guys have had so far, just to give our listeners a kind of a taste of what you've done.
Yeah, so Bo is designed to be roughly split into thirds on subject. It's supposed to be 1/3 hunting related activities, 1/3 fishing related activities, and 1/3 other outdoor recreation. Mm-hmm. So we certainly, with the summer bow, we try to offer that proportion to the classes. We do sometimes end up heavier in the other recreation with Dutch oven cooking, kayaking classes. Our summer boat does a float trip down the Clearwater River. We do several shooting classes, shotgun, rifle. Sometimes we do a handgun class. We always do a fishing class. The fly fishing classes are very popular at the summer bow. And then in the winter, when we kind of go on to our Beyond Bow programs, it depends on who I have available in terms of volunteers and location. But the ice fishing classes are always present, partially because we have some long established excellent instructors for those who just, it's very important to them to see it keep going. And then we also have an aquatic education coordinator who helps with the program as well. So we kind of balance some of those programs together to make both of them grow a little bit. So the fishing is great. Sometimes we'll do hiking classes. It depends, and it varies a lot, but we do have a lot of fun with all of our classes.
Yeah. Now, and who's allowed to participate in bow? It's called Becoming an Outdoors Woman. Is it certain age groups? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so bow, the original design and format it's definitely set up and designed for first-time women, 18 years of age and older.
Okay.
And I'd say 99% of our participants fit into that group. But I see this program, it's got a really important atmosphere of encouragement and openness. So we welcome anyone 18 and over who really wants to join us.
Okay. All right. Do you see maybe down the road getting younger girls involved in this as well? Or is it going to pretty much just stay focused with adults?
So the Becoming an Outdoors Woman will remain 18 and over. Yeah. There is some discussion on how we can kind of open up some of these other opportunities. So like the outdoor skills,
sure,
maybe kind of growing that and encouraging the younger groups, teenagers to start doing the same kind of stuff. So there are other avenues to get those groups.
Yeah, that would be something that I could see an interesting addition, mainly because I see my granddaughters spending way too much time in front of the video game stuff. So I'm just waiting for something like that to happen to say, guess what, girls? We're going to get you involved in something. Get outside a little bit more. But I just think this is a fantastic program because, for a long time, they're just the outdoors in general and outdoor sports just seemed like it was more geared for a man's world, if you will. And I really like that there's some light shined on this because, being part of the Montana Outdoor Radio Show and this podcast, I go to a lot of fishing tournaments and events and that. And I'll tell you what, the gals are definitely right in there with the guys. And, we're seeing more and more women now winning some of these big tournaments. The other thing I love to see are couples now, getting out and competing together and doing some of this stuff. And so, I just really like the way this is focused. What kind of comments are you getting from the public about this?
There's definitely an interest in this program, and those who have taken the classes. We get a lot of our volunteers from past participants who came, tried out bow, and just fell in love with the program and what it offers. So people generally really like this program, and because we try to keep it open and encouraging and just fun, it's a non-competitive atmosphere. I've been lucky. I had some really great mentors getting into some of these sports, but not everyone learns the same way.
Yeah.
So I think this is just another opportunity to give people just another avenue and different style of learning than maybe their partner would offer them, or their father offered them, or their mother offered them. It's a different kind of camaraderie to be with your own peers learning this.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, I want you to maybe give us a little insight into what some of your participants have been saying about the program. Because I think for folks that are listening, that gives them a really good flavor for what it must be like when they hear what other participants have said once they were involved. So think about that, and we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back right after this. I know our regular listeners to this podcast have heard me talk about Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer, but for those of you that are new here, let me start with the basics about Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer. They are your locally owned Boss Snowplow, CM Truck Bed, and Diamond C Trailer dealer. They offer a wide variety of auto, truck, and trailer accessories and specialize in sales and service of trailers. Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer is conveniently located at 5680 Expressway in Missoula, Montana. Now, let's get into the stuff that truly makes them special and why they are the ones we recommend if you ever need a new trailer, a snowplow, or just need service and/or advice. Let me give you an example. They carry the best snowplows on the planet. That's Boss Snowplows. So that way, when you get sick of just getting by with what you have or sick of spending a fortune to have someone else plow you out, you can come tell the folks at Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer about what and where you need to remove snow, and they will help you find the perfect Boss snowplow to get the job done right now and likely for the rest of your life. I'm going to tell you something about these Boss snowplows that just amazes me, but I truly hear about it all the time once someone I know buys one. They always say something to the effect of, Rigger, I never thought I'd say this, and I know it sounds crazy, but I actually have fun plowing snow with my Boss snowplow. And crazier yet, I like it so much I actually look for places near me that need plowing and ask property owners if I can plow it for them. Gang, I'm not exaggerating. That is the Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer difference. They carry the equipment that not only is perfect for you, it actually becomes part of you. So, gang, don't end up hoping you get the right snowplow, trailer, or truck bed. Just go to rmtte.com. Look at what they have, then call them at 406-549-4243. Get all your questions answered, and then go have fun this winter. Thanks to Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer. Go see them, rmtte.com. That's Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer. We are back. Kylie Kembel is with the Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, and has been doing a great job with this program. For short, it's called BOW, B-O-W. And what I asked you just before the break was, what are some of the women saying about this program after they've participated? Do you have some comments and things you could share with us?
Yeah, I'll just mention we just finished an ice fishing workshop in Helena just this last weekend. And we always ask for evaluation from our students. How can we improve and do better? And what do they like about it? So I'll just share a couple things that really kind of hit with me. One of them, it was a very short comment, just said, I felt safe and supported. And when you're out on the ice for the first time and you're hearing that crackling and that booming of the ice fishing, it's an important thing that they're feeling that safety out there. Without a doubt. Another one wrote, I loved the enthusiasm and thoroughness. I could tell that every instructor was passionate about fishing, which made me excited to try. And that really is a very clear description of our volunteers. They really do love what they do for this program.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And while we're on that topic, maybe let's get into that. Talk a bit about who your instructors are, your volunteers. Give us an idea of some of the people that participate with you guys.
Yeah, so we've got a very wide range of volunteers. Some of them are retired Fish, Wildlife, and Park staff. We have fisheries biologists who retired from the department, and they just love fishing and they love sharing their love of fishing, so they stay with the program. Some of them work at local outdoor stores. It's pretty wide range. We've got grade school teachers, nurses. We've got just about everybody. Search and rescue members come out and join us. And our past BOW coordinators, they still love this program. They come and support it still.
Mm-hmm. Well, and, that's something I've talked to several, current and past FWP, especially the biologists about is, some people feel like, well, I shouldn't bother them. But they really do like to share. They really do enjoy what they're very passionate about what they do for a living and love to share. And, for example, like Adam Strainer, I've had him on the program a couple times, and he loves to take people out and show them how he does the netting and does some of those surveys out there. So, I mean, the FWP has always been very approachable on these things. And, I think it's great to put them in that instructor role. And I imagine it probably does put the participants at ease a lot. When you're doing something for the first time, a lot of people, it can be a little intimidating. And it's great when an expert is encouraging, and you end up saying, "Oh, okay, well, this isn't too bad." I've seen it before where, when we go to these fishing tournaments, for example, people will, stop by and see what's going on, but they don't know much about fishing. And they at first kind of are intimidated. Oh, I'll look like an idiot. But when they realize fishermen and hunters and that, they're a pretty wide open group. They love to share in that. So is that the feeling that you get from your participants all the time, is that, hey, this is fun?
Yeah, absolutely. And not everyone falls in love with the sport. We certainly have people who try archery and they say, hey, thanks for showing me that. I'm not interested in continuing it.
Now I know fine. I don't want to do that. Yeah,
exactly. And we've tried to offer them the opportunity to try these things without having to invest the finances to go out and be, an avid ice angler. you can try it. And then if you don't like it, fine. It doesn't hurt our feelings. It's not for everybody. We're just glad you tried.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk a bit about some of the upcoming events that you've got coming up, so that folks that are listening to this podcast can get an idea of, maybe some things they might want to get involved in and try.
Yeah, so we've got on the books right now, we've got 2 more ice fishing classes. One will be in Lewistown, February 2nd, 3rd. That class is about filled, but we're going to open up Kalispell ice fishing Saturday morning, January 27th. The registration will open for that. And that registration fills in varying amounts of time. The ice fishing classes have been taking about a week to fill, but again, it just kind of depends on the area and the class. We're going to try to get a hiking out at Makoshika State Park this spring. Look for that one coming up. We're still working on kind of a plan for that. And then, we'll have a few more pop up in the meantime, but our big event, our big summer bow will be August 16th through the 18th. And that registration and that information will start coming out in the springtime.
Okay. Yeah. And I always, give updates on stuff that's going on, so you can stay tuned to this podcast, but also on the Montana Outdoor radio show. We do a lot of updates both on the air and on montanooutdoor.com. The other thing that I'll do for those of you listening right now is, when you found this podcast, you found the podcast description. So what I'll do is I'll put some links down there towards the bottom of that, so you can click on those and get to those links. Are most of these that they can sign up for, they can just do online?
Yeah, we offer through a group called Calcami. They register online, and then right now our form of payment for the classes is just a mail-it-in check to FWP. Mm-hmm. But we post all of our classes and workshops on our website, so fwp.mt.gov. Under education, you'll find a BOW, Becoming Outdoors Women tab. And there's also, under contact us, there's receive bow emails. So you can certainly sign up for the newsletter from Bo, and we'll announce any classes upcoming that way as well.
Perfect. Yeah.
And then we also have a Facebook page, which is FWP Becoming an Outdoors Woman -BOW.
Okay. So I'll have those links there in the podcast description for all of you, and just click on those and you can get right to them and find out. Give us an idea on how much these events cost.
Yeah, it's a wide range of costs. Our ice fishing classes this year have been $10. Part of the reason is the aquatic education coordinator has all of the equipment that we can use, so we just kind of borrow from them. Mm-hmm. But the summer bow is our most expensive event, and that ranges upwards of $350.
Yeah, and when I heard what these costs are for all that you guys do in these programs, I was amazed. I'm not just blowing smoke. I mean, it's incredibly reasonable for that. How do you pull that off to make it so inexpensive? Well, I guess you just told me a little bit as far as you have access to equipment and that. Do you get like donations and things to help cover that?
Yeah, we've had sponsors of events in the past. We've got a lot of donations. I think most of our snowshoe stock has been donated. And that's really helpful to keep the cost of the program down. And then, of course, we're using volunteers instead of, full paid staff, borrowing equipment. And, all the money that the bow participants pay in goes right back to the program. Mm-hmm. So they're putting a lot in there. And then FWP, we feel that this is a very important program for the state. So we do have a general fund that we put in to help support it.
Excellent. But for people that still say, gee, I really would love to get out and do that, but I just don't have the money. You do have some financial aid program as well, right?
Yeah, especially mostly for our summer boat, because that's quite a bit more expensive.
Right.
We do offer some scholarships, and all we're asking to participate in that is a one-page description of your need, so we can kind of keep it to those who really need the
Right.
scholarship to be able to participate.
Well, and that's fair. Yeah. But that's another thing that I really liked about this program is that it seems that the spirit of this is to really leave no girl behind, no woman behind, that you give as many different ways to get involved as possible. Is that something you guys have done right from the beginning?
Yeah. We've fought for sponsors in the beginning when we first started this program. We got sponsors and donations, and then of course, the participants pay a fair bit of the share of the cost. And we've put in FWP's just decided that it's important, and we've put in some as well. Yeah.
Well, that right there, tells me that there's a commitment to it, and it leads me to the next thing I want to talk about. But I want to take one more quick break before we do. But when we come back, answer this for me. So I think sometimes people hear about these programs and they say, okay, well, that all sounds great, but in reality, I'm going to get there and I'll be embarrassed because I've never done any of this before. And I don't want to do that. So address that and talk about what a brand new person that's never really done much outdoor activities, what they can expect. Let's talk about that when we come back right after this. I want to talk a bit about a very special company located in western Montana, Superior Hardwoods of Montana. They were established in 1977, and since that time, guiding customers through the woods has been their passion throughout their history. The main focus at Superior Hardwoods of Montana has been to provide the finest wide plank flooring and unique building materials available anywhere. One of the things I noticed right away about the owner of Superior Hardwoods of Montana, John Medliger, and his son Corey, and the rest of the staff there is they're very proud to offer the largest selection of in-stock flooring in the western United States. See, for over 40 years, they've been known for leading the industry in reclaimed and antique building materials, and the success that followed has allowed them to, now get this, stock over 11 acres of stunning architectural lumber that awaits the perfect addition to your home. One thing I want you to remember is just because they're located in Missoula, Montana, that does not mean they can't help you turn your home into a piece of historical art if you live somewhere else. They have been guiding folks from as far away as Hawaii and beyond through the woods for many years. So no matter if your project is located across the street from them, across the state, or somewhere else in the world, they can't wait to turn your house into a dream home. Their goal is simple. They stand ready to deliver the best choices with reliability and honesty, helping at any phase of a project with inspirational advice. And I'm not exaggerating when I say they actually treat their customers as friends and family. So the choice is yours. But if I were you, I would go to superior-hardwoods.com. superior-hardwoods.com. Of course, you're more than welcome to call them, 406-235-7452, or, they'd love you to visit 5120 Highway 93 just south of Missoula, Montana. They can't wait to guide you through the woods at Superior Hardwoods of Montana. Go see them. You're going to love what they do to your home. We are back. I am with Kylie Kembel, am I saying that right? Kembel?
Kembel.
Okay, Kembel. Sorry, I am the
No,
worst.
yeah.
I butcher last names all the time. But anyway, she is with the BOW program, Becoming an Outdoor Woman. And one of the things that I know is in the back of the mind of some people listening, and that is, okay, you guys talk about, oh, it's welcoming and great, but really, I'm living here in Montana, and a lot of people know quite a bit about the outdoors. So if I show up and I've never even so much as hardly set foot out beyond the backyard, I'm just going to get embarrassed. I don't know anything about that. Address that, because I have heard completely the opposite, that someone that is absolutely knows nothing will have a great time in this.
Yeah, so most of our programs are designed for people who have never tried these activities before. And we welcome anyone to sign up, even if they have done it a few times and they have all the equipment.
Sure.
But most of our participants are people who've heard about it, and that's about the extent of their knowledge of it. And I think that's what's special about BOW is it's a pretty heavily weighted towards those who have never tried, and may feel that embarrassment. And that's why there's no competition, and it's all about enthusiasm and fun in this program. We will teach you things. You will go home knowing what is safe ice and what is not for the ice fishing programs. But we expect that people don't know this information.
Yeah, and that's the key thing, is when you can make a program just put people at ease. And I've heard from and saw some comments online and stuff from different women that have been involved in that, and they don't bring up embarrassment ever. They talk about how hard they laughed, how much fun they had, new friends they made, and all that, which to me really speaks to the fact that you guys are really trying to make this as welcoming an experience as possible. And so do you do like an instruction for the instructors to kind of get them to, because not everybody can teach. How do you find people that can make everyone so at ease like that?
Yeah, well, it starts, partly with the foundation of volunteer instructors that we have that are just incredible. On this last ice fishing workshop, for example, we had 15 women out on the ice in Helena, and the very first person to catch a fish, the instructors just start clapping and cheering, and before you know it, every single participant is hooting and hollering every time someone catches a fish. And that is definitely something that's learned for instructors. And anyone who's new, we certainly, try to encourage them to mentor with some of our instructors, especially some of the ones that are more experienced, so that they can kind of get that ease and encouragement and enthusiasm throughout the program.
And do you find that when women get involved in this for the first time, do you ever hear back from them saying, I'm a regular fisherman now. I regularly get out and snowshoe or things like that. Have you heard from people that have participated that kind of got, pardon the pun, hooked on it?
Absolutely. About 4 days after our Helena ice fishing class, I ran into a participant on the ice fishing.
Really?
So they certainly get out there and get after it. Not everyone does, but it depends on the sport. There's one of my instructors, her favorite story is at her first bow, she was teaching archery, and a woman drew back her arrow, shot her first arrow, hit the target, looked at her and said, "I know what I want for Christmas."
That's excellent. That's excellent. So really, they're getting a pretty wide scope of different deals. Now, if someone, say, takes the ice fishing deal when it comes spring or summer and it's a unrelated activity, are they allowed to keep getting involved in the BOW program?
Oh, absolutely. Especially with the Beyond Bows, we encourage you to try every activity we offer. Class sizes are limited.
Sure.
The summer bow, we do try to get more first-time participants just because it is such a fun event. But yeah, we absolutely encourage people to come back and try as many different activities as they like.
Okay. Give us an idea, like on the bigger events in the summer. We're talking about obviously a little higher cost because it's much more involved. Take us through what one of those summer bow events looks like.
Okay, yeah. So summer bow, it's 2.5. Well, it's 2 days, so it's Friday at noon through Sunday at noon. And you'll, when you first arrive, we feed them lunch. We have a quick meeting. We talk about where they're staying because most of them stay on site at the camp. And then we kind of direct them towards their first class. And it's all about the classes for about 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And in the evenings, we have speakers and activities. We do it all. We make earrings, fishing lure earrings, survival bracelets. We learn how to use bear spray. We absolutely do it all. And so they take those 4 classes, and then we feed them lunch on Sunday and send them home.
Okay. Now, are these just for Montana residents, or if somebody's visiting Montana, can they get involved?
Yeah, we certainly have people from out of state come participate. We don't end up with a lot.
Uh-huh.
Some other states have really big bow programs, and it's hard for people to get in. So sometimes they look to coming to other states. So that certainly, we do certainly get some of those people, but a lot, most of the participants are Montanans.
Okay. Yeah. One of the things, I've talked about on this program and with a few different guests, we've talked about, in fact, I just had the governor on not long ago, and we were talking about, Montana has seen growth, especially, I think it kind of, again, got spurred by COVID, where people said, it's time to move and find a better quality place to live. And so we've seen a lot of, people moving into Montana. And especially if you've come from maybe some of the southern states or that, it's a different experience. I mean, these are 4 distinct seasons, and there's a lot of things to learn and ways how you approach wildlife, or don't, more importantly, approach wildlife. So I think this can really be a good idea for someone that, has moved to Montana and wants to get started. They can really get some good knowledge that is going to help them really become, I guess, more of a Montanan. Wouldn't you think, rather?
Oh, absolutely. And we do have quite a few participants who are new to Montana, and this is just such a great program for them. It's one of the more welcoming ways, I think, to kind of start some of these activities if you're new to Montana.
Yeah, and like I've heard the governor say it, I've heard other people say it. If you move here, yeah, welcome. We're glad you're here. We got lots of space, but don't forget the reason why you came here and why you left the place that wasn't working out for you. Really try to become a Montanan and really grasp what we're about here. And I think, a program like this for our listeners that are just moved here, this is a really good way to start that, because when you do, you're going to find that Montana really starts to open up for you. When you learn more about it, you realize, wow, there's a lot to do here. And I know we've talked quite a bit about ice fishing and that. What are some of the say, fishing or hunting activities that you guys have done?
Yeah, those are fun too. Kayaking is a really big one for us. We also have a pretty good stock of paddle boards.
Okay.
So we do have quite a few water-based sports, but water in Montana is an important recreation.
We got a lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So those, as well as hiking, Dutch oven cooking, if you're ever camping and you want to try a different style of cooking other than your small little gas stove, that's a great class. It's pretty popular as well. Maps and compass is is a very popular and a regular class for us as well. Just getting those basic skills on how to use a map and understand how a compass really works.
Well, and for women, that's something that they'll do. Us guys, we will never seek directions or ask directions. I'm being stereotypical here, but anyway, so there really are some valuable, not just fun, but super valuable skills like that, especially if you are going to decide that getting out and hiking is something you really want to pursue. You guys have programs that teach you how to do it the right way, safely.
Yeah, there's safety involved in all of our classes, basic how-to tips on what equipment works well as just general ethics and how to be, a responsible recreationist in the state of Montana.
Well, Kylie, I can't thank you enough for the amount of time that you spent here with me and talking about this program. I know for a fact you will see some of the more girls showing up and some of those little grandkids when they get a little older too. So don't go easy on them. Make sure they really have to learn. But but I really do appreciate it. Before we go though, tell us again, what are some of the best ways to get more information about this? And then also, are there ways that, let's say some of our listeners that are very experienced out there how do they volunteer and help you guys out?
Yeah, so for both of those, the best way to get more information is to start with our website, fwpmt.gov, under education. You'll find the BOW program. And my contact information is listed there. It's got a phone number and an email for me. And either way, either one of those is a great way to get a hold of me. Just reach out. Sometimes give me a little time if we're on programs. We're busy, but I'll always get back to you. And if you're interested in volunteering, even if you want to learn how to kayak, but you already know how to ice fish, we welcome you to be both participant and a volunteer. There's no rules on that. So we certainly, just reach out to me. We'll have a conversation and get to know each other a little bit and then see how we can best work together.
Okay. Are there anything in particular that you're looking for right now that you need?
Primarily, we're looking for our beyond bow instructors, somebody who can take on a topic and share it with their local group, especially in eastern Montana. We're definitely looking to increase our volunteer base over there. Well, but everywhere, really, we'll talk to people.
Well, I've got a lot of good friends and podcast listeners over up on the High Line and over in the Fort Peck area. So, guys and gals over there, get a hold of Kaylee here or Kylie, get a hold of her and help her out because. There's some great things to do over on the east side. I'm kind of addicted to Fort Peck over there. That's an amazing place, an amazing fishery and just amazing stuff to see and do over there. So we will definitely send some people your way. Lastly, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Is there a memory that you have that really stands out to you that you go, this is why I'm doing this? Is there something that stands out that really made you laugh or moved you about what you saw as you've been running these different events?
Oh,
I told you I was going to put you on the spot.
You sure did. I haven't had the pleasure of doing this a super long time, but I think just the joy in people's faces, when they get to try that sport. And sometimes the classroom stuff, people are, it's a lot of questions, and it's good information, and it can still be really fun. But when you get the hands-on actually doing the activity, the joy that just sparks there, it reminds me of, the first times I tried grouse hunting or fishing and caught fish. And I think that's what's really special.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It really is. That's what it's all about is there's nothing better than sharing your passion with somebody and seeing those lights come on and their eyes get big and you realize, yep, they're just as passionate about it as I am. So you're going to have fun with this, folks. So, don't just dip your toes in, jump right in and go down to the bottom of the podcast description and click on those links. Now, Kylie, do you mind if I share your email in there?
No, please do.
Okay, perfect. Well, then you'll have her email down there as well, folks, and just click on it. It'll open up your email program right automatically, and then type away and get those questions answered. So, well, I want to thank you for all your time. I want to thank you for what you're doing because this is important. The more people that get involved in Montana's outdoors, the longer and better our outdoors will last for a lifetime. And of course, the old saying, sharing is caring. So I really do appreciate it. And I hope you won't be a stranger. Come back and talk to us more often about some of these programs.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to highlight the program.
You bet.
I appreciate it.
And there you have it, folks. I hope you'll get involved in the bow program. It's going to be fun. You'll enjoy it, and you'll learn something, and that's important too. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time here on the Montana Outdoor Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Montana Outdoor Podcast. It has been brought to you in part by Superior Hardwoods of Montana, home of the largest selection of in-stock high-end wood products and flooring in the western United States. Let them guide you through the woods at superior-hardwoods.com. And by Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer in Missoula, home of Boss Snowplows, CM Truck Beds, and Diamond Sea Trailers. Just go to rmtte.com for more information. So what did you think of today's podcast? Send your questions and comments to Downrigger at montanooutdoor.com. We should be dropping a new podcast this next Saturday. Until then, we will see you soon out in Montana's great outdoors.